We know that everyone has a story to tell. And today we're going to talk about how to get that story out to the masses because it's been building up inside of you. And whether it is a vanity project, something you're just working on and you just want to put it out there just to say that you've done it, or if it's something that you want to make money from, we're going to talk about that today. And I hope that by the end of this presentation, you'll walk away with some tidbits and you'll be ready to publish. So this is just a little bit of statistics about the indie market. Indie is short for independent. So that's what they call self-publishers, indie publishers. So if you hear that word, you know what they're talking about. So Business Wire is expecting this market to reach over 100 billion by 2025. That means there is enough of this pie to go around, and I'm so excited because we need more indie authors. We need what you have inside of you. I know that, like I was, you probably ran into one of two problems. Either you didn't know where to start, or you started, but you don't know where to finish. And that's okay. That's okay. Because that's why I'm here. I'm here to help guide you from where to start or to how to finish and all those little nuances in between. Because sometimes we just need somebody to just help us get over that hump. And then we're good to go. So, only 6 out of every 1,000 books get published. Let's not include you all in that statistic because that means that somewhere out there, someone has written a book and then they just let it sit and they never published it because they didn't think that they could. But we're here to change that tonight, right? But let me tell you, I'm one of those people whose book sat for 2 years before I actually went ahead and published it. And it was because I didn't know where to start at the time. So you are not alone. I'm just giving you guys a chance to read some of these statistics. But what did I say when I started this slide? You all are not going to be this statistic. We're going to get you published. Why? And this goes back to the last slide. Why did those books just sit there? Why didn't they get published? Because people didn't know where to start. They had writer's block. They needed a little help but didn't know where to get it from. Or they were rejected by the big companies. But that doesn't have to be any longer because here you're in the right place. Today's training is perfect for the person who has that book trapped inside of them that's been building up on the inside, but you want to get it out. Here's the place. We're not going to let fear hold us back. We're not going to let imposter syndrome hold us back. We're not going to let timing or trying to be perfect hold us back. We're going to get this book published and done. Discipline is one of those keys to help you overcome some of that. If you set aside a little bit of time each day, it could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour each day. You get yourself closer to where you want to be. So if every day at 6 o'clock you say, I'm going to work with Candace, I'm going to work with Noir, and we're going to put this book together. Or every day at 6 o'clock, I'm going to write a little bit, and set a goal of what you're going to write. I'm going to write 500 words every day, or I'm going to write 1,000 words every day. You can do it. You just have to discipline yourself to do it. If that means closing those emails, getting off of social media during that time, closing the door to your room, getting rid of all distractions, maybe you have to go sit at, the local Starbucks, or maybe you have to go sit at the local library, or maybe you have to ask the kids to, just don't kill each other for 30 minutes to an hour so I can do this. Or maybe you do it while they're in practice. Take your laptop with you. There are ways to get it done. There are ways to reach your goal. If you want it and you discipline yourself, it can happen. Like I said before, I was where you were. First, it took me the longest time to write. Then it took me the longest time to publish because I did not know where to go after the book was written. But you know what I did? Because I knew I wanted to write a children's book. Well, first, let me take you back a little bit. Why did I do the children's book? Books. Well, my daughter had a love of reading. She had a love of being read to until she started school. Then she became withdrawn. She didn't want to read. She certainly didn't want to read out loud. She felt like she was falling behind. And I wanted to give her a way in which she felt good about reading. She felt confident in what she was doing. And I figured that her and I writing books together would help her do that. And it did. She took so much pride in letting her imagination run wild while I wrote out whatever she was trying to get out, and then actually helping me put the book together. My daughter, let me show you a book. And hopefully you can see this. Hopefully it's in frame. But my daughter would say, "No, mommy, I don't like those colors," or "No, mommy, I don't like the pants," or "I don't like the shirt." And so she not only became my co-author, but she also became part of the content creator that went into this book. She helped to design these the illustrations and how they were going to look and tweak. Like, it had to go past her. So sometimes you can make this a project with your kids to get it done. Even if your kids are older, if you're writing a novel, maybe they have a different perspective than you have. I know I haven't been a kid for about 30 years now. So having her perspective on it gives a fresh perspective of someone who's living the kid life right now. I consider myself a lifetime author because I've been writing since I was little. I was writing poetry and little short stories that I would submit and things of that nature. And now I get to share this with my child. And the reason why there's a pregnancy photo here is because I'm currently pregnant. So not only am I still writing, but I'm still writing with a little one growing inside of me. When I started this project with my daughter, I was basically acting as a single mom at the time because my husband's job took him overseas at the time. So it was just her and I. So this was also a great way to engage her and us to spend some quality time together and kind of calm down the rush of the day to work on something that was meaningful for the both of us. This is just some of the highlights about me. I am published multiple books, still publishing, still writing. I love to do it. And getting them translated into English was such an amazing thing for my daughter and myself because she loves Spanish. So when I told her I was getting them translated into Spanish, she was ecstatic. But this is another way to add to your profits because you can take the same book that you've written and you can change it into different languages. You can change it if you began talking about an animal, you can change it to a human. If you started talking about a boy, you can change it to a girl and vice versa. You're taking that same content and you're flipping it multiple ways. So those are other ways in which you can take what you have and build upon that, increasing your brand and increasing your revenue and sales. And just think if you were to add a stuffed animal or bookmarkers or t-shirts to that, you are expanding so far beyond probably what you first thought when you started thinking about that book. So, are you here because you're looking to be a published author? Are you here because you want to be a bestseller? Are you here because you just want to get your story out? Or are you here because you want to be wealthy? What is the reason why you're here? You can type that in the chat. So, published author, you can check that off the list because when you work with me, we get you there easier than you can think. Us working together, I give you the tools to help you to get to where you want to be. Best-selling author, that's just as easy. If you're doing it just for vanity because you just want to get it out there, you might not be looking to be a best-selling author. But let me give you a little secret on the best-selling authors. Unless you're on the New York Times to be an Amazon best-selling author, most of them were only best-selling authors on Amazon for about 10 minutes. And then Amazon's algorithm moved on to the next thing that came out. But they were there for enough time for them to be able to put bestseller behind their book. And they did that through launching the book and getting the people behind them, whether it was through a Kickstarter or whether it was to get all their family and friends behind them and doing pre-sales. You do pre-sales, you get 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people to buy your book on a pre-sale, which when you tell family and friends or coworkers or whatever, they're going to want to support you. You build up the hype for your book. And then when your book actually launches, the day that it launches, all those sales hit at once. Boom, you're a bestseller. That's a little secret that most people don't know. But the way to stay on top of your sales, not to stay a bestseller, because most people, even those who have big publishing names behind them, don't stay bestsellers forever. But the way to stay on top of your sales is you become your salesperson. You become the biggest advocate for your books, and you have to push those books. Self-publishing is a way to get your books out to the masses immediately without going through the rigmarole of going through the big publishing companies and trying to get them to first even see your book. And when we talk independently wealthy, we're talking about the fact that self-publishing allows you to collect royalties each month from the platforms that your books are on. And you will see what I'm talking about. I've given you some tidbits already, so I hope you're writing it down. But let's continue. We talked about launching. We talked about taking the time to write. And I'm not saying that in writing your English it needs to be perfect, because that's what editors are for. That's what they do. You build a team around you that are experts or specialists in what they do, whether it's illustrators, editors, formatters, copywriters, ghostwriters. They help you to do what you feel that you can't do. And that's okay. It's okay not to know how to conjugate a verb if you're not using it all the time. But there's somebody out there that's an editor that knows exactly where to cut off your run-on sentence. Then it's going to say, yeah, we're not going to end this sentence with a preposition. We're going to flip these words around a little bit. But these are some of the things that I'll work with you to teach you. Because we're going to get rid of all of these this language that we feed ourselves, that tell us we can't do it, that tell us that we're unable to do it, that tell us that they defeat us before we've even begun. We're going to get rid of all of that, because you'll be equipped with the tools to get you to self-publish and beyond. This statement is false. If you've already written your manuscript, working together, we can get your book published in as little as 2 weeks. If it's a children's book and you need it illustrated, maybe 3 to 4. But you know what that means? That means that by the end of 2022, you would be a published author. This statement is false. You know why? Because there's always someone out there looking for your yes. They're looking for what you've written. They're looking for what you have inside of you. Because nobody else, the way anybody else says it, it won't come through to them. It has to be what you've said. It has to be what you've written. It has to be in the way that you display it in your book. And all you need to make that happen is a laptop or a computer or a friend that has a laptop or a computer that's willing to let you borrow it. This goes back to setting aside, taking a discipline and setting aside the time you need to become a published author. You're taking the time out to watch this presentation because inside of you is a book that you want to get out. You don't have to work with big name companies to make it happen. The smaller companies, people like you and me, are publishing each and every day and succeeding at it. So let's get you there. False. I told you I was going to show you royalties. So this is from KDP, which is Amazon's print on demand. So what could you do with the extra $800? Whether it's a month, whether it's every couple of months, whether it was just over a year's time. You could pay a car note. You can put it towards a trip that you want to take. You can pay down a credit card. There's plenty that you can do because this is another stream of income for you. So you can take this and do what you want. How do you create wealth? Through multiple streams of income. Being a published author gives you another stream of income. Would you like me to teach you how to do this? I've given you some secrets, some tips, but there is more. What is your reason? What is your why? You have two options. With the information I'm giving you, you can continue to try to do it yourself. And I wish you all the best. But I've been there. I've done that. I've spent money. I've lost money. I've spent hours trying to do the research. Or we can go with option B and fast track that so that you go into the new year, you go into 2023 saying that I'm a published author. And maybe by that time you publish not one but two books. Let me show you something. This is the course layout. The course will run from May 9th through the 13th. These are the different modules. We talk about starting it, set aside the time, setting it up, the process of pulling the book together, and then getting it published, getting it out there. Module 1. These are what to expect in different modules. I wanted to throw this testimonial in there because this is someone who I work with who is now promoting the heck out of her book. You may run into her at a book fair or at a pop-up. And she's excited, and we still keep in touch. Module 2, who's your target audience? This is one that sometimes people don't think about. You may think it's one group and then realize that's not really your target audience. But working with me, I help you to drill that down. A lot of times, this module 3, is what stumps people because they don't know where to go to get good illustrators or a formatter or an editor. And when you get to module 4, have you thought about whether you want to do print on demand? Whether you want a company like Amazon to handle your book sales for you, printing the book and sending it to the customer? Or are you one that wants to buy 1,000 books yourself and just sell it off your website? Those are things that you have to think about. Or maybe you want to do both. Do you know what an ISBN number is and where to get it from? Or how important it is to have the right keywords and descriptions so that people can find your book? These are things that are taught in the course. And I know you might be a little curious about the price. And normally working one-on-one, I would charge anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500, from nuts and bolts to end. But that's not what we're going to do here, because in this, we're going to work as a group. We're going to get it done together. You guys are going to not only learn, but be able to piggyback off each other. And I want you to succeed. This is just a little bonus of the course. And going at your own pace is super important. I know it is for me. You will be able to enroll in this course within the next 72 hours for $199 by going to publishwithnoir.com. Again, $199. So that value of $1,000 to $3,500 worth of stuff, $3,500 worth of stuff, worth of impactful information and tools to help you succeed as a successful author, as a self-published successful author, all for $199. Plus you get the group that you guys can brainstorm off of and piggyback off of, your own Facebook group where you guys can come with information and we can kind of go back and forth a little bit on it for $199. Because what we're going to do, we're going to have a day of training. It's going to be May 9th through 13th at 6 o'clock every day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to work. Let me go back. You're going to hear from me and get the training. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to use those days as like office hours, where we're still going to meet at 6, but you guys are going to talk to me about your progress, about how you took the information you were given and applied it to your situation. And if there are any kinks, we can work those out. I know people who charge upwards just for that piece, just for those office hours. So when you finish with the course, you'll have the tools to write the book you want and publish it successfully. I'm excited. I get excited about helping people. So I'm excited about even talking to you all about this. Now the choice is yours of what you want to do. I hope you join me on this journey. And I thank you so much for attending this webinar. Let me know if you have any questions.